Heaven is watching who passes this test. The truth about the rapture's final hour. There's a test happening right now, and most people don't even know they're taking it. It's not a test in school. It's not written on paper. It's written on your heart. Before the rapture, God isn't just watching what the world is doing. He's watching who's truly ready. And this one test, this quiet test that's unfolding in the spirit, is separating souls, not by religion, not by appearance, but by authenticity. Every day, choices are drawing invisible lines. Some are growing closer to God without even realizing it. Others slowly drifting, one small compromise at a time. And the frightening part, many will fail this test without ever knowing they were being tested at all. You can feel it, can't you? The world is shaking, the pressure is rising, right has become wrong, and wrong has become celebrated. Hearts are growing colder, faith is growing weaker. And yet, in the middle of all this noise, God is whispering, I'm watching who will stand, who will stay, who will still love when it costs something. This isn't about fear, it's about clarity. Because before Jesus returns, there will be a dividing line, not drawn by angels, but by the choices of everyday people. This is the test before the trumpet, the test of loyalty, the test of love, the test of faith that doesn't fade when the world burns around it. Maybe you've been feeling it lately, that pull in your spirit, that restlessness, that sense that time is running short. That's not anxiety, that's awakening. God is preparing his bride. He's calling his people out of the noise, out of the numbness, out of the sleep of routine religion. He's asking one question that cuts through everything else. Will you still choose me when it's not easy? Because this isn't a test you can cheat. You can't fake love. You can't pretend faith. You can't wear worship like a mask. This is the test that reveals what's real, in private, in silence, when no one's watching but heaven. So if you're feeling pressed, misunderstood, shaken, maybe it's not punishment, maybe it's preparation, maybe God is refining you, not rejecting you. Because before the rapture, he's not just coming for a church that sings, he's coming for a church that endures. And those who pass this hidden test won't just escape wrath, they'll stand before the King, radiant, ready, and real. So let's talk about it. What is this test that's separating souls? How do you recognize it? And how do you make sure you don't fail it? Let's go deeper. Have you noticed it? The world feels divided like never before, but beneath politics, culture, and chaos, there's another division happening. A quiet one, a holy one. It's not on the news, it's in the spirit. This division isn't between nations or neighbors, it's between hearts, between those who are truly surrendered to Jesus and those who only look like they are. Heaven has drawn a line, not to exclude, but to expose, to reveal what's real. Right now, God is allowing the world to shake, not to destroy us, but to show who still stands when comfort disappears, who still worships when prayers seem unanswered, who still believes when faith costs something. Because what's happening around us isn't random, it's refining. Every trial, every disappointment, every delay, it's pressing your heart like oil from the olive, and only real faith flows under pressure. Some are standing strong in secret places. No spotlight, no applause, just quiet faithfulness. They're not perfect, but they're pure. They stumble, but they rise. They pray, even when no one listens. They give, even when no one thanks them. That's who heaven is marking. That's who the Father calls mine. But others, and this is the painful truth, are drifting, not because they're evil, but because they're distracted. The noise of the world has dulled their hunger for God. Compromise doesn't look dangerous anymore. It looks normal. Worship feels optional. Holiness feels outdated. And without realizing it, their lamps are running out of oil. This is the silent division Jesus spoke about when he said, Two will be in the field, one will be taken, the other left. Not because one was more talented, not because one had more followers or influence, but because one's heart stayed awake and the other fell asleep. It's happening even now. In churches, in families, in friendships. You can sense it, a spiritual pull, a gentle separation, not of judgment, but of preparation. God is gathering those who truly love him, those who won't trade his presence for convenience. Maybe you felt it too, that distance from things that once excited you, the hunger for something deeper. It's not random. It's the Spirit pulling you higher. You're being set apart, not left behind. So don't be afraid if some people don't understand your passion for God. Don't be discouraged if old habits, old circles, or old desires no longer fit. You're crossing heaven's unseen line into readiness, into purity, into intimacy with Jesus. This is what the silent division looks like. It's not loud, it's not obvious, but it's eternal, because one day soon, that invisible line will become visible when the trumpet sounds, and those who stayed faithful rise to meet him in the air. Until then, the test continues. Each day is another chance to stand on the right side of that line, not out of fear, but out of love. Because when all is shaken, only love will remain. There's a reason Jesus said that. In the last days, the love of many will grow cold. He wasn't just warning about sin. He was describing the temperature of hearts, hearts that once burned for God, now frozen by disappointment, offense, and pride. We live in a world that teaches self-protection, not self-sacrifice. It tells you to cut people off, not forgive them, to chase applause, not compassion, to love only when it's convenient, not when it costs something. But heaven's test is the opposite. It's asking one question: will you still love when the world doesn't deserve it? This is the real test before the rapture, the test of love. Because love isn't just a feeling, it's proof. Proof that God still rules your heart. Proof that you've not been poisoned by bitterness. Proof that you still reflect the nature of Jesus. Think about it. When Jesus was betrayed, he didn't lash out. When he was abandoned, he didn't curse. When he hung on the cross, he didn't point blame. He whispered forgiveness. That's what divine love looks like. And that's what the enemy is trying to destroy in this generation. You see it everywhere. Online arguments, families torn apart, believers turning against believers. Everyone is right, but no one is kind. We defend truth, but forget grace. We preach holiness, but forget mercy. And slowly, quietly, love begins to fade until we're fighting for God, but sounding nothing like him. That's the tragedy of the end times. Not that evil exists, but that good people forget how to love. Because when love grows cold, faith grows weak. Without love, worship becomes noise. Without love, prophecy becomes pride. Without love, even truth loses its beauty. Maybe you've been wounded by people who claim to be Christians. Maybe church hurt left scars you still carry. Maybe forgiveness feels impossible right now. But this is where the test gets real. Because Jesus isn't just testing your words, he's testing your wounds. He's watching how you handle the ones who've hurt you. Do you harden or do you heal? Do you build walls or do you build altars? Love is not denial of pain. It's choosing redemption in spite of it. It's looking at the ones who failed you and saying, I refuse to let your actions change my heart. That's what separates light from darkness. That's what marks the true children of God. And maybe, just maybe, this is the final preparation before the trumpet sounds. Because heaven isn't coming for hearts that are talented. It's coming for hearts that are tender. Hearts that love even when it hurts. Hearts that forgive when it's unfair. Hearts that choose peace over pride. So ask yourself, when love is tested, what will my heart reveal? Because the rapture isn't about escape, it's about alignment. God isn't looking for the loudest worshippers. He's looking for those who love like his Son. If the world grows colder, let your heart burn brighter. If others turn bitter, stay kind. If they curse, bless. If they hate, forgive. Because in the end, love is the only thing that will never fail, and the only proof that you're ready to meet him. Pressure doesn't create weakness. It reveals it. Fire doesn't destroy gold. It refines it. And right now, the whole world is under pressure. But the question heaven is asking is simple. What will your heart reveal under the weight? Every generation faces its test. Ours isn't persecution by sword or prison. It's pressure by distraction, temptation, and weariness. The enemy doesn't always attack with fear. Sometimes he attacks with fatigue. You start strong, you believe, you serve. But after a while you get tired. You wonder if it's worth it. You pray, but heaven feels silent. You give, but nothing changes. You love, but people still betray you. And slowly, a quiet war begins inside. That's when the refining starts. God allows pressure not to break you, but to build you, to reveal what's really inside. Because it's easy to say, I trust God when life makes sense. But true faith is proven in the dark. When you can't see, can't feel, can't control, and still choose to believe. The furnace of life doesn't just burn away sin, it burns away illusion. It strips off the masks we didn't even know we wore. The pride, the control, the comfort, all of it gets exposed when life presses hard. And that's not punishment, that's preparation. Maybe that's why you've been going through what you're going through. Maybe the pressure isn't proof that God left you. It's proof that he's getting you ready. He's refining your faith so it can stand when everything else falls. He's teaching you to trust when you don't understand. He's training your heart to endure so it won't collapse when the trumpet sounds. Look at Joseph. He was promised greatness, but pressure came first. The pit, the prison, the false accusations. All of it felt like delay, but it was development. Before he wore the crown, he had to survive the crushing. And that's what God is doing with many believers right now. He's not denying your calling. He's deepening your character. The same thing happened to Peter. He thought he was ready to die for Jesus, but the fire of testing revealed his weakness. He denied the very one he swore to defend. But later that same Peter stood fearless before crowds and declared the gospel with boldness, because the failure didn't end him, it refined him. That's the secret of pressure. It purifies what's real and removes what's fake. It's the spiritual X-ray of the end times. And right now heaven is watching how we handle the heat. Do we worship when it's hard? Do we stay kind when misunderstood? Do we keep giving when no one thanks us? Because that's what separates the wheat from the chaff, the genuine from the performance. So don't curse your season of pressure. Don't assume it means God is angry. Pressure is the anvil where faith is forged. And when you come out, if you stay faithful, if you keep trusting, if you refuse to quit, your heart will shine like gold. Remember this. The same heat that melts wax hardens clay. The same storm that drowns some lifts others higher. It's not the pressure that defines you, it's your response to it. And when the final trumpet sounds, those who stood through the fire will stand before the throne, pure, proven, and ready. Because every tear, every battle, every sleepless night will have meant something. You weren't being punished, you were being purified. There's a quieter enemy in the end times, one that doesn't roar like a lion, but whispers like a lullaby. It's not persecution, it's not fear, it's comfort. Comfort feels harmless, it feels safe, it feels like peace. But if you're not careful, comfort becomes the most dangerous trap of all, because it lulls your spirit to sleep while your faith slowly fades away. This is the age of ease. Everything is fast, convenient, instant. We want blessings without breaking, crowns without crosses, calling without cost. But the gospel has never been about comfort. It's always been about commitment. And somewhere along the way, we've mistaken convenience for favor. We think if life is easy, God must be pleased. But the truth is, ease can sometimes be the evidence that we've stopped fighting. The enemy knows he doesn't need to destroy you if he can distract you. He doesn't need to attack your faith if he can make you too busy to use it. He doesn't need to make you evil. He just needs to make you comfortable, because comfort doesn't kill instantly. It kills slowly. It softens conviction. It silences prayer. It turns passion into passivity. And before you know it, your fire becomes a flicker. Think about the church of Laodicea in Revelation. They weren't cold. They weren't burning hot. They were lukewarm. They said, "We are rich. We need nothing." But Jesus said, "You don't realize that you're wretched, poor, blind, and naked." They had everything the world could offer, but they lost what heaven required. That's what happens when comfort replaces calling. The rapture isn't coming for a church asleep in success. It's coming for a bride awake in surrender, because when your soul grows comfortable in the world, your spirit grows distant from God. You stop longing for his coming because you're too in love with staying here. And that's how compromise begins. It never starts with rebellion. It starts with reasoning. It's just a small sin. It's not hurting anyone. Everyone else is doing it. That's how hearts drift. One small compromise at a time, until the line between holy and common blurs. Remember Lot's wife. She wasn't destroyed because she was evil. She was destroyed because she looked back. She was being rescued, but her heart still missed Sodom. That's the danger of comfort. When God calls you out, but part of you still wants to stay. So what's the cure? Wake up, shake off the numbness, return to your first love. Pray again like it matters. Worship again like he's near. Live again like eternity is real. Don't let success seduce you into spiritual sleep. Don't let distractions drown out your devotion. And don't let compromise rewrite your conviction, because the same Jesus who warned about lukewarm hearts also offered hope. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and dine with him. That's the invitation, to choose intimacy over indifference, presence over pleasure, holiness over habit. This is the hour to wake up, to say, Lord, if you strip away everything I rely on, let my heart still burn for you, because one day soon the trumpet will sound, and comfort won't matter anymore, only closeness will. So don't settle where God called you to stand. Don't sleep where he told you to shine. The night is almost over, and the King is on his way. Faith is easy when everything works, when prayers are answered quickly, when doors open easily, when life feels light and full of blessing. Faith feels natural. But what happens when the answers delay? When the heavens feel silent, when the world seems to be falling apart, and all you have left is the promise you can't yet see? That's where endurance begins. That's where the real test lies. Jesus said, "He who endures to the end will be saved." He didn't say he who shines the brightest, or he who never stumbles. He said endures. Because in the last days it won't be talent, intellect, or even knowledge that keeps you standing. It will be endurance born from love. Endurance means holding on when you want to give up. It means trusting God when your emotions tell you to quit. It means walking by faith when sight betrays you. And that's what heaven is looking for. Not perfect people, but persevering hearts. The early church understood this. They faced prisons, persecution, rejection, but they also carried joy that couldn't be silenced. They sang in chains. They rejoiced in suffering, because their eyes weren't on the fire, they were on the finish line. They knew that beyond the pain was a crown, beyond the battle was a reunion with their King. And that's the kind of faith God is reviving again in this generation, a faith that can't be bribed by comfort or broken by crisis. A faith that doesn't crumble under pressure, but grows stronger through it. Maybe right now, your heart is weary. You've been praying for breakthrough, but nothing's changing. You've been believing for healing, for restoration, for direction, and heaven feels silent. But silence doesn't mean absence. God is still there, shaping something in you that the world can't take away. He's strengthening your roots so the storm can't uproot you. He's teaching you to stand even when the wind howls. Because endurance isn't built in blessings, it's built in battles. And every moment you keep walking in faith, even when it hurts, you're proving that your love is real. That's why Scripture says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap, if we do not lose heart." There is always a reward for endurance. The test of this age may separate many, but those who endure will shine with a glory the world can't comprehend. So don't let delay make you doubt. Don't let pain make you bitter. Don't let disappointment make you disconnect. Every tear you've shed, every prayer you've whispered, every time you've chosen faith over fear, heaven has seen it all. One day soon, you'll understand why the waiting was necessary, why the pruning was painful, why the test was long. Because when Jesus returns, every moment of endurance will turn into eternal joy. Hold the line. Keep your lamp burning. Don't quit now. The finish line is closer than you think. This is the hour to endure, not with fear, but with fire. Because when the trumpet sounds, those who kept believing, loving, forgiving, and standing, they'll be the ones who rise first. They passed the test, and their faith will echo forever in heaven. This is the moment we were born for. Not the moment of fear, but the moment of faith. Not the hour of hiding, but the hour of standing. The world is being tested, but the truth is, so are we. Every headline, every shaking, every trial you've walked through has been pointing toward this one question: will your faith endure until he returns? Because before the trumpet sounds, there's a refining fire burning through the earth. A spiritual sifting that no one can escape. It's not meant to destroy you, it's meant to define you, to reveal who truly belongs to him, and maybe, deep down, you feel it too. That pull in your spirit, that quiet conviction that says, it's time to wake up, it's time to come closer, it's time to get ready. That's not fear talking, that's the Holy Spirit calling. This is not the season to drift, not the time to play halfway, not the time to live lukewarm and distracted. It's the time to burn brighter, to love deeper, to forgive faster, to walk lighter, because this world is not your home. Don't wait for the storm to pass before you start building your ark. Don't wait for the trumpet to sound before you start preparing your heart. Right now, while there's still grace, still breath, still mercy, choose Jesus again. Not because you fear missing out on heaven, but because you don't want to miss knowing him here. If your heart has grown tired, ask him to reignite it. If your faith has grown weak, ask him to restore it. If your love has grown cold, ask him to warm it again. He's not ashamed of your struggle. He's calling you through it. Because when the skies break open, it won't matter how much you knew. It'll matter how much you believed. It won't matter how loud you sang. It'll matter how deeply you loved. It won't matter how perfect your life looked. It'll matter if your heart was his. So today, let this message be your reminder. The test is happening, but grace is still available. And no matter how many times you've fallen, his mercy still says, get back up, child. I'm not finished with you yet. Before you scroll away, pause, whisper a prayer. Lord, make me ready. Don't let my love grow cold. Keep my heart awake until you come. If this message stirred something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Let it reach someone else who might be drifting, someone who needs that reminder that it's not too late to turn back to God. And if you haven't already, stay connected, subscribe, follow, and journey deeper with messages that will strengthen your faith and remind you that you're not alone in this fight, because the trumpet will sound soon. And when it does, I pray you'll be found faithful, awake, and ready, standing in love, shining with hope, looking up, because the King is almost here.